All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television show in the history of the universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, and also The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be talking about why I will never, ever read an ebook. And we'll get into the details of that here in a second. Well, first of all, let's just start out with the most obvious. Physical books are just cool. Not only that, they're made of trees. Now, trees can be cut down, turned into paper, but those trees can be replanted. It's a renewable energy source. Now let's take into consideration the there's about 1,100 billion people that die yearly mining and manufacturing all of the materials that it takes to make our electronic devices, including our e-readers, and I just won't support that kind of, misery and suffering. And, well, I think my math might be a little bit off. I don't know if it's 1,100 billion people annually that die. In fact, I don't even know, really. I actually didn't research any of this at all. I don't know whether using trees or producing ebooks is better or worse working conditions for the environment or for people or any of that. I honestly didn't even really do a simple Google search on the subject. I just basically am showing up here on the internet with a very misinformed opinion, just like the rest of you do. And I am just going to say I like physical books because I like physical books. I don't like e-readers. That's just it. I was, and the epiphany came to me today as I was reading Neal Stephenson's Quicksilver. I'm sitting here in my writing studio, and it's a snowy day in Utah here where I live. You can see it's just been snowing all day. I've been sitting by the window, cozy window, space heater at my feet, just enjoying this book and the way it felt in my hands, and just how nicely it's put together. It's got the deckled edge. You can see the deckled edge. The paper's really nice, and then it's got all these wonderful maps inside of it. I was just enjoying the physical experience of reading this book, and I'm just like, this is what life is all about. This is what life is all about, is just sitting down, opening up a paper book, and just smelling the paper. Have you ever smelled? Have you ever sniffed a book? It's unbelievable. It's heaven. Not only that, but these things are physical objects that are beautifully designed. They're wonderfully constructed, and I love it. Look at my writing studio here. I've got this bookshelf back here full of books. This is like furniture in my house, and it's been this way for years and years and years. And I've got all sorts of wonderful collector's editions of The Lord of the Rings back there. I've got classic novels like Count of Monte Cristo, Jane Austen books. I've got biographies about Lincoln and George Washington. Just so many things right here. And it's stuff in my house that I love. And I think that's what I'm getting to, is I love collecting stuff and having it. And for those of you that have watched my channel for a long time, you've seen this is just the tip of the iceberg. I have an entire library upstairs of over 5,000 books. It's just huge, and that's really important to me to have that. Now, I like the physical books. Now, let's talk about the difference between physical and e-readers. Well, there's a few things I don't want to deal with e-readers, and that is downloading stuff. Having accounts where I have to download stuff. I hate having different accounts on the internet where I have to download things, and where I'm dependent upon that company for existing into the eternities, or at least until I die, and so I don't lose all the money that I've invested into downloading. Although I do have an audible.com account, and I only have the audible.com account because I enjoy listening to some books while I'm driving. And I've also building up an audible.com library because if you watch my channel, in the past, you know that I've got an eye disease and I'm slowly going blind. So eventually I might have to do just listening. But who's to say? What if I get, and this isn't just for ebooks, but this is for, all your streaming music services, all your streaming movie services, all the services that you can download, like music to your iPods and things like that. Who's to say those companies aren't just going to go out of business one day and all that stuff that you purchased is just gone? Or let's say you've downloaded it onto your computer or laptops or whatever, and then there's a Holocaust, or there's a nuclear war, or another pandemic, or something happens and all of our electronic devices don't work anymore. Well, you've lost all that. But meanwhile, I've got 5,000 books in my library. I can keep reading. Now you're going to say, well, Durfee, you could lose your library too. I mean, what if suddenly a fire breaks out in your house and just everything's going up in flames? I mean, yeah. No, I can't take 5,000 books and put them on my back and just bust us out of the fire. No, I can't do that. And I haven't taught any of my books to stop, drop, and roll and find that exit. They're just untrainable when it comes to that kind of thing. So yeah, I could, but the odds are like, it's pick your poison, people. It's pick your poison. And this isn't just books. It's just not my love of the physical book, because I love the physical act of reading. I mean, I'm a published author, and when I got my book deal with Simon & Schuster, one of the highlights of my life was to walk into the bookstore, the Barnes & Noble, and see a physical copy, an actual physical copy of the book. It was amazing. It was just, I couldn't believe it. And then any bookstore I walk into in the country, I can see a physical copy. There's just a difference between having a physical copy of your own creation than, just writing a book and pushing, upload onto, Amazon and just have it be a digital file. I mean, even the people that are self-published that do that, they still, all of them, 100% of them, make a physical copy for themselves for CreateSpace, because we all want to see a physical manifestation of our creation. Do we not? I mean, I certainly do. That's another reason why physical books are way better than ebooks, in my opinion. I mean, they're just works of art all around. And it just doesn't go to ebooks. I'm talking about my music collection. I don't have an iPod. I've never had an MP3 player. Ever since I was a kid, it was buying CDs, and I counted my CDs upstairs. I have over 600, probably between 600 and 700 CDs that I've been collecting since I was a kid. And I don't have digital music anywhere. I won't. I listen to these CDs on my boombox, and I just here's the thing, is I love the feeling of having stuff in my house and in my hands. Like if I want to listen to a collector's edition of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band live, I've got this big box set of all of his live recordings. Not only that, but or if I want to listen to my Cinderella hair metal, I mean, you pull up this box set and it's got all of the albums right there in it that Cinderella has ever done, with these little booklets. It's got the little booklets of liner notes. I mean, that stuff, that has meaning to me. It just has meaning to me to be able to pull out these individual little album sleeves and look at the back and read the liner notes that are in there. My Crucial Crew, Motley Crue came out with all these Crucial Crew editions where it's got the original album plus like about 6 or 7 extra songs where you can that weren't included in the original albums, and then you, of course, you get this stuff, reading the lyrics, looking at all the photos as I'm listening, this has meaning to me. This kind of stuff has a lot of meaning to me, and I really, really like having a physical copy of this stuff. Not just music, it's also, I don't subscribe to Netflix, HBO, Disney. I don't subscribe to any of that. I just actually buy, like The Sopranos is my favorite television show. I actually own the whole thing. The collector's edition of The Sopranos, and it's just like the music CDs. It comes with thousands of extra features, booklets, little collector's items. Same with other, I've probably got 200 or 300 different movies and DVD sets of like Deadwood. My other favorite, The Wire. You know, I don't trust the streaming services will always be there. And you know, if I want to watch Game of Thrones, I don't have to go to HBO. I can just plug that stuff into my, actually own it. It's simple, folks. It's not rocket scientist, and I'm not ebooks, you know, there's no noble cause. I'm not trying to save the planet or the world. I like having physical books like this and sitting in a chair with it open on my lap, reading it. That's just me. Your opinion might differ. If you love your e-reader, I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that I'm a better person than you because I collect real books. That's all I'm saying. Nothing more, nothing less.